This current England setup does not work. I think we can all agree on that. So the question is, why is this the case, and what could we possibly do to change it now that we are through the group stages and into the knockout rounds? So this is how we lined up yesterday. We had a back four here. We have Rice and Gallagher in midfield, who got hooked at half-time. Bellingham in the 10, Foden on the left wing, Saka on the right, and Kane up front. Now immediately there are problems here. Trippier at left back, he can't play there. The guy doesn't have a left foot. And so normally with a left-footed left back, you'll have him being able to play the ball to Foden down the line easily all the time. Or potentially even into midfield, into Rice, or even further into Bellingham. The problem with a right-footed left back is he always has to cut inside first and then try and pass. That limits your options massively, because in order to cut inside and then try and pass it to Foden, there's going to be players in the way. So what ends up happening with Trippier is he just plays the ball sideways, and that's it. And even if he's found himself higher up the pitch, like going past the halfway line, what he will do is, instead of making that overlapping run that most good fullbacks will do and offer Foden an option for him to play it out to him, he can't do that because he doesn't dare to cross the ball on his left foot. So instead, he sits behind Foden, which means there's still two men sat in front of Foden. His only option is potentially to pass it back to Trippier, and then Trippier will play it backwards into the midfield. So we don't progress with him there. Another problem that everybody other than Southgate can see is Foden doesn't work on the left, okay? If you have someone like Saka, he's left-footed, okay? He may potentially beat a man running down the line, and then he could cross it in, or he could cut back onto his left foot and have a shot at goal. You'll often see him dribbling in something like this, and then having an effort from this kind of position at goal, going for the far corner. But because Foden is so one-footed on his left foot, he doesn't want to beat a man going this way and then cross the ball in, because that's not what his game is about. His game is about dribbling past players and then having a shot or maybe laying someone in. So what you end up seeing is him getting the ball on his left foot and having to just dribble inside, going basically across the box until he's either tackled or has to play the ball backwards at some stage. I think there was only one time where he managed to sort of dribble this way and then play a ball through to Kane, but it was a little bit overhit. Now you also have Bellingham in the 10, and he just isn't working there for him. So what you could do as a very quick fix for this problem is simply switch them. And the reason for this is, if you're wanting for some bizarre reason as an England manager to play one of your players out of position, at least make it so it can work. So if Bellingham's out on the left, which he has drifted out there a few times in this tournament now, at least he can get the ball on his right foot. And then he can potentially drill it into Foden, drill it into Kane, maybe cross it all the way to the back post for Saka. But it allows Foden to get the ball in and around the edge of the box and do what he's done for Man City. Drive forward with it, whether it's ending up playing it through to Kane, Bellingham, Saka, whoever's making those runs, or he can have a shot at goal and try and score from outside the box like he's done for Man City so often. The other solution to this problem is you have to get rid of either Foden or Bellingham. One of them needs to be dropped for an actual winger. Now this means that you actually have someone who is wanting to bomb forward with the ball and is looking to be positive with it, get behind their man. The problem that we've had with Foden, and when Bellingham goes out there as well, they have no intention of getting past that defender. They're doubled up on, and then the other players are out of position and they don't help them. So if you have someone like Gordon on one side and Saka or even Palmer on the other, you can see the attacking intent. They want to drive forward. They are happy to get past a man and cross a ball into the box. Whereas people like Foden and Bellingham don't seem to want to do that when they're out on the left-hand side. Another problem position we have is this right centre mid. And it's been Gallagher in this last game. He came in for Trent after Trent played the first two games. He wasn't dreadful, but he clearly didn't stand out as one of the best players. So Southgate brought in Gallagher here, and he hooks him at half-time for Kobbie Mainoo. So it just doesn't work. He doesn't have the passing ability and vision for this kind of role. He runs around a lot, right? He'll get stuck in. He'll put in a lot of effort. But when you are basically playing against a low block in all of these games, that's not what you need. If you're chasing a game and you desperately need to get the ball back as soon as possible, that's where Gallagher can thrive. But when we're controlling possession and trying to have players that have attacking intent and know how to find the pockets of space, as everyone always says, he isn't him. And he also doesn't seem composed enough on the ball that when he does do it, that he'll be able to maybe beat a man with an unexpected nice dribble or first touch, or a little 1-2 into Foden or Bellingham or whoever's there. So this doesn't work either. And it also means that because this midfield is not controlling the game and everyone just feels like they're out of position, Kane is having to drop all the way back to the halfway line or further. He ends up being left back or right back in these games. That can't happen if you don't have proper wingers. So, all of that being said, what do I think we should be doing in this next game? This is what I would like to see in the next game. And let me run you through why in each position. So, Luke Shaw, I think everybody agrees, if he's available, which it's looking like he might be available for this next game, he starts. And there's no denial of that. He is the out-and-out left-back. He needs to be playing there. He will offer us so much more attacking-wise than Kieran Trippier. You will actually see him making these overlapping runs to support the winger and potentially getting in crosses or even being there at the back post when the ball comes in from the other side, as we saw in the Euros final last time around. He was there at the back post coming in. And for the same reason, I would have Trent at right back over Kyle Walker. Walker isn't offering much right now. Yes, I know that he got the half assist. I don't know what you'd want to call it against Denmark. He sort of attacked the space where Christiansen just wasn't alert, and he did try and put in a ball. He should have crossed it earlier, and then the ball he did put in got deflected twice to get to Kane. It wasn't great. But defensively, he's not been great so far, and his pace, which is basically the only thing he has, isn't really that needed because we're against teams where we're dominating the ball and being able to try and build out from the back. Trent can do that so much better than Walker and provides the passing options, especially if we do start someone like Gordon. How many times over the years have you seen Trent ping a ball all the way far sides to someone like Mane, for example? It's so common. So I would love to see that as an option, or as he gets further forward into a position like Palmer is on this, then you can see him crossing the balls into Kane, Gordon, Luke Shaw on the overlap. I feel like that is the best attacking setup that we have. And if you wanted to go a bit more defensive, then you could. Maybe you're 2-0 up in a game. I know, Southgate ball. Shocking if that would actually happen. Then maybe you'd bring on Walker for a little bit more defensive stability than Trent, who is obviously better going forward. In the midfield, I would stick with Rice. I would bring in Kobbie. This could easily be Wharton as well. But Kobbie compared to Trent in midfield or Gallagher, the better positioning, the intensity in the tackle is good, which is solid, but he also he's press proven, basically. He can use those tight little dribbles, and you saw little 1-2s and flicks and stuff when he came on yesterday that you don't see from someone like a Gallagher. And so we can do more in tight spaces with someone like Kobbie and potentially break through these mini presses and passing through the lines. So I really, really want to see that. Is it crazy to say that Bellingham should be dropped? I think the only way, for me, that he starts the next game is if he plays this number 8 role. You have Rice as your 6, Bellingham as your 8, and then Foden through the middle. Because Foden has to play, right? But he has to play centrally. Bellingham, by all accounts, the first game, sure, did well, got the goal. The last 2 games, he's been really bad. Does Gareth have the guts to drop him? No chance. Absolutely no chance. But this is my team. So I have Foden going through the middle here because this is where he's best. Even that, or a little bit further to the right. So he can drift a little bit. And he can pick the ball up and get it onto that left foot of his. So I would really, really like to see this. On the right, it might be harsh to say that Saka should be dropped. I think this is a toss-up, to be honest with you. I would play one of them for 60 minutes and the other one for the last 30. Something like that. But Palmer, when he came on yesterday, showed what we've been missing in just being direct. Now, he actually did it a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left, and through the middle. He was everywhere. But he wanted to get past his man. He wanted to drive forward and create things. And that is what we're lacking right now. And the same with Gordon. He only got a few minutes last night, but you'd see how much directness we have with these kind of players. They're so forward-thinking, and I would love to see them playing. There are some calls, quite a lot of calls actually, for Kane to be dropped for Watkins or Toney. I don't think there's any point in doing it for Toney. Whereas Watkins would offer you more runs in behind. Like, if Kane's down here, he's not going to be making that massive run to get in behind the defence. Whereas Watkins, we saw it when he came on against Denmark, even though it was only for like 15 minutes or something. There were a couple of opportunities. One where Bellingham was in this 8 position and he played that long ball and he was through, and it was actually really, really well done by the keeper. So I think Kane works with this system. If we aren't going to be playing these wingers, then potentially Watkins would work better, so you have a route through the middle of playing someone in behind. Because right now, we don't have that. Definitely not on the left, because we're not using a winger. And on the right, Saka sometimes has been going, but we don't have that long ball option from Trippier because he isn't comfortable playing the ball on his left foot, so you never get that crossfield ping to Saka. And you're not seeing it from Rice either. Rice isn't being brave enough with forward passes, and I really, really hope that we see more of what we know he can do going forward in the remainder of this tournament. But this is my setup. This is what I think should happen. I don't think there's any world where any of these changes are actually seen by Southgate. I think he's more likely to drop Foden than Bellingham. Whether that is for Gordon or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Gordon should be getting way more minutes. We need Luke Shaw to be fit. And we need this right centre mid position to be fixed. Because so far, it's just not worked. And the problem is, we're now going into the knockout rounds of a Euros with a manager that's been here for, like 6 years? And he doesn't know his best team. He's been, in his own words, experimenting with Trent in midfield in the group stages of a tournament. What are you doing? It's a mess. So there's basically no confidence in Gareth, the team, the setup, anything like that. We know individually the players are great, but this setup is so poor that he's just not getting anything out of them. So hopefully we will see something more like this, and we'll see much more attacking nous going forward in the remainder of this tournament, because that's the only way that we have any chance of winning this damn thing. We have got such a favourable draw now. Our side of the draw compared to the other side is so much better. This is your chance to change things now and get that team set as we go through the remaining games. So please, Gareth, just do the right thing. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time, probably with some more reactions to other games and mini predictions and stuff like that as well. So in a bit, everybody, thanks for watching.